Aho oyate ake. Unheatakape. We come to sit. In your mind, nitawachi, in your mind. Upo, come. Upo. Iatakapo, in your mind. Dakota, dakapte. We're going to talk Dakota. Nija toke nakape. Tokia. Wherever. Ihiduk champo dina. Think for yourself. How important is Dakota? How important are you as an individual, Dakota? And that's what we know as a civilization today. So hina yuk champo, wichoichage kinde. Wichoichage is a generation. Wichoichage is a generation. Hektakia, in the back days, hektakia. Wichoichage au tohaya. We don't know. Stud uyamshni, we don't know how far back Dakota goes. Certainly, thousands of years, certainly. Maybe we didn't talk the same language 10,000 years ago. Maybe we just used hand talk, I don't know. But here we are today, given to understand, given to understand a language so we can communicate better. Communicate. We speak. So we better communicate with each other. So yuk chapo hina, think about those. Chatoke nakape, anana nakape, tokia, somewhere, here and there. Upo, come in your mind. Let's sit together. Wita, yankapte, wita, mibea, wita. And we talk about these things, how important language is. Language is important. Indian name is important. A language, an Indian name gives you identity, creator. Hine yuk sampoito. Ampetu kende. This day, ampetu kende. Ikchekche wo dakapte. We'll talk a little bit, not too serious, whatever comes to mind. Ikchekche. Ikche is ordinary, not too serious, whatever, you know. Ikche just for the heck of it, you know. Ikchekche wo dakapte. Just to hear that word, the spoken word. Dakushni. Whatever comes to mind. Small stuff. Daku is something. Daku. This is a daku right here. De daku ha. De daku ha de. Mini ojuha. Water container. Mini ojuha. I'll talk a little bit about that after. A funny thing. Mini ojuha. Hacha. That's what it is. De daku. Nija. Mataku. What am I? Ikchevichasha, an ordinary man. Some say Ikchevichashta, a man, ordinary man. Ikchevichashta could be a female and a male. No gender difference. Some say Ikchevichasha. Sha is a red. We're called the Red Indians by the governments or whomever. Oh, he's a Red Indian. Well, I'm not red, but I'm an Indian, you know. So, Creator, Ateo Kantanka, give us a life, an existence. And later on, He gave us a way to live, how to live in communion with Him, with the language, with the culture, and so forth. Indian name makes you that person He created you to be. Ikchevichasha. Wakinga thunderbird that paints himself. Hechaka wakayamani, sacred walking out. 2 names. Two names that I have were registered with Creator. Oswald and Noel McKay. That one's registered in Ottawa for the government's purposes. That don't mean nothing. You don't need that. I don't need Oswald McKay when I'm done my work here and have to go travel. I don't need Oswald McKay. I need Hechakwa Kamani. Wakin Oichwa. How? You go to the place Creator gave you. He'll take you back. But further discussion will come on those kinds of things. But at the moment, itogash. We'll say prayer, and then we'll start our afternoon. Friends and relatives. Unka ato kantanka. Oache tisteri iwoche. I show Chashton Dutch, Dakota, Aya, Macakin, then Akana Huichanak. Ocheti Shakoi, Weepas Okawakpa. How dinner on Cape. How we choke we chuni on Yakope. Nako we choi on Yakope at all contact. Aina we choice a tohaya wana hina, doch bekia on Kayap. Unkahinawa na unkabedesape. Acha Dakota Iapi, Dakota we choka ake unkikik chochimpe. Onia cha taha atawa kantanka. O kachnike woksape kidina. Amakata uya chahina, yokachnikia. Ampetu kinde hoichichi. Anshon kidapo atawa kantanka. How tokata kia, how Dakota ki. Awe choichikte. Dakota Dakota we choch a doha. How tacha kidina manipte. Ayato kantaka. Oya hoye chichi. Achon der otanka kawita o help. The name won't dak. Achon kiapo, honshon kidapo. O da unkotapta, chimpido. Acha de ta tokata kia hechi. Aoki hechi unkapo. I should hit to how we charged the Koyaka rape, or Yato Yaka rape, in a hetchanana. I do have my own iptedo aya. I better go up with a chichida to a contact. I chitido, o mitakoda, oas. All my friends and my relatives. That is how we start our day. A simple prayer. Wochiki. Ask Creator, ato a contact. You create us. Dakota, here on this land. And I talked to him about the generations. We got interfered with, generation. Slowly lost our language and our culture. But through his messages, he reminded us of who we are. And we realized that who we are is different today. We're more assimilated to the world out there, which is sometimes not good. We understand. We sat, we contemplate, and we come up with idea. We look at our surrounding. Anana, washichu aumpe. Lots of people, Washichu, speak hardly any Dakota. We understand that. So we decided, well, other people before me decided, we must get our language back. Take it back. Ichipash, back. So the work was started. One leader here in the community, Chief Bone, Robert Bone, one time made a talk, a speech somewhere in the United States. And he was very proud, and rightly so. He was proud of his community. What he said at that time was, he talked about language. He said, back home, Kiata, Wipazokawakpa, 75% of the people still know and use the language. This must be early 2000s, somewhere over there, maybe prior, when he was chief anyway. He was very proud, and rightly so. Today, it's not that high anymore. Somebody did a survey, and that 75% has reduced quite considerably. I was talking to my nephew from the United States, Red Wing. And he said one time, over there in their area over there, they always talk about Sioux Valley, Dakota, the Mecca of the Dakota language, the Mecca. That makes me proud. But, we're losing it also ourselves, so we have to keep it going. Ake yunajin, make it stand strong. Yunajin kia, make it stand strong again of who we are. So hina, apetu kende iwo hadakawachi. Takushnishni epechi, a little bit here and there. Takushnishni. Taku is what? Something. Shnishni, a little bit of stuff here. Ikchekcheya, ordinary talk. I just want you to hear the spoken word so that you'll be used to hearing it. And hopefully the idea is for you to understand it. That you're going to use it. So hina, apetuki yohawa hiotake. Those hina, wo yukcha, the idea. Yohawa hiotake. Yohawa, I bring it together to me. Yoha wahiotake. I sat here with that thought in mind. How great would it be, again, if the majority here, Wichota, lots of people, Wichota, are able to speak the language? How great would that be? Itokab hepa, I've said this before, Ocheti Shakoi as a nation, each of those 7 Ochetis, Cheti is a fire, is a nation. Dakota, there's different dialects, they're a nation. Dakota, there's 4 dialects. That's, each one of those is a nation. Lakota, Ija, I think there's 7 dialects. In Asia, Yuita, one nation. That makes up the Ocheti Shakun. Different smaller nations into one big nation. We better keep that going, because that's really in the news today, especially Oichago Sampata. Dahan Uchashta Pakiape, Itanchankape Dahan Oyate Tokad Vichako attention. Hahina Dakota, Lakota, Nakota was Age Donjimka. Hina Pachad Unizapunkoke. Kechami, we can look at those things that are not doing us any good. What the government do, especially in the States with right now what's in the news, the ICE squads or whatever you call them, arresting our people down that way. So these are the kinds of concerns that I have. Over here too, Dakota is in the news a lot these days, since the apology, 2024. Federal government recognized us, Dakota, as owners of the Oceti-Sakowin territory, Dakota territory in Canada. Excuse me. So these are important things that you should consider. Within those, there's a requirement that you be an Indian, be a Dakota with the language and the culture that goes along with your territory. The language is a spiritual language. Our language, our culture is connected to all creation. Hina was ichikwake. Ichi as a ichikwake. They're related, they're connected. Our spirit is connected to the water, to the air. Unchimaka, grandmother earth, gives us life. PG, or add PG huta, medicines. Wamakanshkan, the small beings on the earth. Wahuta, for the four-legged. Hupahu ayata, the winged ones. All these, everything that is created, we are related. Mitakuya us, all my relations. Mitakuya us. That's why we say that. Mitakuya oas. All my relations. Because Creator created all of us. So, Takushnishni hechet. Don't let me write Takushnishni. What small stuff, whatever, you know. Takushnishni. If I can spell it, Da Ku Shni Shni. Takushni Shni, whatever, you know, whatever. Small stuff. Whatever. Our favorite word. Whatever. Takushni Shni. What did I say earlier too? Takushni Shni, and I used that word earlier too. I can't remember what that is now. Takushni Shni. And it'll come to me again. So that is what we're going to talk about today. We talked a little bit earlier about the weather. Takad doketu. What's the day like? These are everyday words, everyday sentences. It's beautiful outside, not as cold as yesterday. Certainly not as cold as last week, last Thursday. Oh man. Last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, man. Ichamana, a storm. Tateampa, it was windy. But today, it's nice. Ampetu kinde oashte chake. It's a beautiful day. Chtaniha, yesterday. Kitana usni, a little bit cold. Kitana usni. Ampetu kinde, this day. Hehayach usnishne. It's not as cold as like yesterday. Kitana oashtechak. For a January, it's really nice out there for a January today. Last week, Ampetu tonakchak hektak Thursday. I wasn't here Thursday. Dokhe tokam michop. I was invited somewhere else to be in Saskatchewan, Hitkia, but those of you are listening from Manitoba and Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, you remember how windy it was. Tateampa. Thursday, Saskatchewan hit bede. Got Otoa now a little town called Grenfell hit bede. Noch tatampa. Got windy. Wobbles dohe, the snow. Otoa Wolseley Iapi hit bede. God could oyuksha. Hey bede get chan tatawa yuga. A big wind came and pushed me. But I now am. Hey my eye. I use monkey. Use a bid'o to straighten out. I had a day after that. Nach Iapi the radio, TV, weather reporter was saying 100-kilometer-an-hour wind gusts. 100 kilometer an hour. That's pretty windy. Nina tate ampa. Tka petukinde this day. Washte chakida. Washte chakida. Ilmokpi. I'm happy with the weather. Ampetu takad outside the weather. Doketu how it is. Ilmokpi. I'm happy. But as I say, it should be colder because we're in January. So today, takad outside. Ampetukinde takad outside. Takun echum picha usnishni. Today, outside, takun, whatever, a little bit, you can do outside. Takun takad echum picha. Echum picha. You're able to do it. Ichinsh usnishne because it's not cold. It can be outside. Takad takun echanu oyakihi. You can do something outside. Ni chui takte shni. You won't get cold. Ni chui takte shni. Chuita is cold. Kte is you will. You will get cold. Ni chui takte. You will get cold. Shni, not. You will get cold, not. Shni. Shni is not. Takat takun echanukte. You're going to work without getting cold. Takar chtayanikte. Wa echanukte. Chuita shni. That is why we say, hecha'un. We say, washtichake. It's a good day to be outside. Takat takun ichun picha. Some things are doable, ichun picha, doable outside. Takat. Ihinohana, maybe you might want to go to the bidet, to the lake. Bidet hechia. Bedekte. Bidet and bidet, two words that are spelt and said the same. Bidet is I'm going. I'm traveling, I'm journeying, I'm going that way or that way. Bidet. Heitkia that way, bidet. I'm going that way, bidet. Also, the word bidet means a lake. Bidet, a lake. That's why Standing Buffalo, Tantankanaji, at one time, back in the 80s, 90s, back that way, before that, Standing Buffalo was known as Bidet Tanka, the big lake. Standing Buffalo was known as a Bidet Tanka. That word was used to describe Standing Buffalo quite a bit back in my day when I was growing up. Bidet Tanka ta, bedekte. Ta means at, there. Bidet Tanka, big lake, ta, at, bedekte, I will go over there. Bidet Tanka ta, wachipte. Bidet Tanka ta, the big lake, ta, at, wachipte, there will be a dance over there. Bedeg tankata wachipte. Hechia over there. Bedekte. Bedeg hechia bedekte. At the lake I'm going to go. Bedeg hechia bedekte. Bedeg hechia bedekte. I will go. Not right now, but later on. Kte is later on. Bedeg hechia bedekte. If I was going right away, I would say, Bedeg hechia bededo. I'm going now. Bedeg hechia bededo. I'm going now. Wanade at this time. Wanade bedeg hechia bededo. Not ichi, not kte, wanade at this moment. Wanade bedeg hechia bedeg. Somebody might ask me, not tue imawa rekte. Iwan gawa ask. Iwan gawa ask. Imawa re asking me. Ichimu re I'm asking you. Somebody might ask me, Tokecha, why? Tokecha, bedeg hechia dahe. Why, Tokecha, are you going to the lake? Tokecha bedeg hechia dahe. Da is your going. Your purpose might be going fishing. Ho hechia. Ho is you agree. Ho hechia. Ho kua bedeg. I'm going over there to fish. Ho is shortened for ho-ran. Ho-ran is a fish. You shorten it by saying ho. Hechia ho kua bede. Kua is to chase, to get after, to catch. Kua bede. Hechia ho kua bede. I'm going to go over there chase the fish. Kinda, that's the general meaning of that sentence. Bedeg hechia ho kua bede. I'm going to go after the fish over at the lake over there. I understand. Ashte. Mija, me too. Waukte. Waukte, I come. But not right now, because I use the word kte. I'm not coming right away, but I will come. Mija waukte. Me too, I come later. Waukte. I was going to come follow you right away. Mija wa'u ktedo. Mija wa not de wa'u ktedo. Mija wa'udo. I'm coming now. Mija, me too. Wa'udo. I'm coming now. Wa'udo. Do is the male form of saying it. The female will say, Mija wa'u ye. Do and ye. Ye is female, do is male. Mija wa'uya, I'm coming that way too. Mija wa'ukte ye, I will come later. Mija wa'ukte do, I will come later. Not right now, later. So that might be my purpose of going to the lake. Or it might be for water, mini. Cherra. Cherra waji habedekt. Bedeg hechia mini howe bedeg. I'm going to the lake to get some water. Here's my cherra. Here's my pail. Cherra. You ask whomever I'm talking to understands that. Tayan yawo. Be careful while going over there. Tayan yawo. Inoch onih paiktedo meaning ed. You might fall in the water. Be careful. These are kind of conversations that you might have. Mini yachug hey echan onih paikte. You might fall in the water. You might trip and fall in the water. You better go with somebody, a young man. Duik chi yawo. Go with somebody. Due somebody. Kichi with Yawo, go. Yawo. Because I might be out of water. Tiata, at home. Tiata. Mini, water. Maniche. Dakota. No mani. Hecha, that's why. Bedeg, hechia, bedekte. Mini, hoe, bedekte. Hoea, go for it. Go get it. Hoea. Mini, hoea, go get water. Bedeg, hechia. There's a funny thing about water. I like coffee. Pijuta sapa, coffee. Ibratake, when I sit up, I wake up, Ibrat, when I sit up, Ibratake, every morning, Achane chata, Ohni, Ihunia, Ohni, all the time. I grab for my Timmy's, my coffee. I hardly drink water. I don't hardly think about water. I don't drink water. I just drink wakalapi. That's Dakota for coffee, wakalapi. Or pijuta sapa. We talked about pijuta sapa last week, I think, coffee. Every morning when I wake up, I gotta have that. Takomini, I gotta have that coffee. The funny thing is, my daughter, she must have noticed that. So she gave me advice. She gave me advice. Dad, she said, you drink too much water. Coffee. Dad, you drink too much coffee. Coffee ota datke. You should drink some water, she said. You should drink some water, Dad. Drink too much coffee. Before you drink your coffee in the morning, hachana coffee datkeshni ched. Drink a glass of water. Mini ugayatka is what she said. I didn't think about it too much. One morning, early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and went for my coffee. Pijuta sapa. I was going to have coffee. Then I remember what my daughter was telling me. Dad, drink some water. You don't drink water. I remember that. So, yokapte, cup, yokapte. Iwachu. I took my cup and went to the water over there. Cold water. Oakashna. I poured water in there. Oakash. Because I remembered what my daughter said. I took the water and I drank it, but the water and coffee consistency is different. I'm used to drinking coffee all the time. Take a mouthful, manage it well, swallow it well. But water, it's just like it. It's just it's different. Okay. So when I got that water and I took a mouthful, I couldn't control it, and it just went down really fast down my throat, so I just started coughing. I started coughing, and I wear dentures, Hikagapi, dentures. So when I was coughing, my denture fell down at the back. Now there's water in my throat and I'm coughing and trying to bring it up, and when the water came back up, my denture, because it fell in the back, in the back, it acted like a dam. Instead of coughing, and water are just squirting out of my nostrils. And holy man, it just about, maktet kara just about killed me. And they called that Maniwi Chuni. I said, I don't know. Just about killed me. So I put water away again. I'm not going to drink that water. Just about killed me. It's not Maniwi Chuni to me. No. Coffee with chuni. Shurta sapa with chuni. I drink coffee every day. But again, lately, maybe about a month ago or so, I decided to, I should drink mini again. I can't mini that because people tell me, you drink too much Pepsi. I like Pepsi too, huh? Kapopa pida, mini snina. Kapopa pida is pop, you know. Popa is to pop. Back in the day, I used to go to town with our kids, and buy a Pepsi or a Coke, and you go, that's the sound you pop up it. That's why it's called pop up it. Pepsi, orange, Coke, pop up. But you drink too much Pepsi or coffee, drink some water, they say. It'll be healthy for you, make you strong. Make you feel better. So lately I finished my coffee, and then next I'll drink a glass of water. It takes me all day to drink a glass of water, but at least I'm drinking some. I'm drinking some water. At the advice of my daughter and some people that I know. Drink some water, good for you. But I'm very careful how much I take and swallow, right? Just it killed me once, so I have to be very careful. But I'm getting to enjoy it. I came, I brought some water with me, just to prove to people, he's drinking water. That's good. Wash it. So those are just kind of funny things that takun woicha, takun shnishni, takun woicha obadake. Something funny I talk about, just to hear the spoken word, just to hear the Dakota word. Mini wichuni, and it is true. Mini wichuni. Without water, we can't survive. Unipi unkoki hipshni. Ni is to be alive. Unkoki hipi shni. We cannot live. We cannot live without water. Mini wichuni Iapi. And the water is sacred. It has spirit. The water, nagri aikak. It has spirit. Nagri is spirit. Aikak. Tachan, your body, needs it. Watching he needs that water. So you can live. So yaninkte, unimpte, we will live. Waninkte, I will live. Yanikte, you will live. Unimpte, we will live. So hina, many wichuni Iapi back a few years back, if you remember, Standing Rock. Many wichuni. Dakota, Ikchewichashta. Indians, ordinary people of the land. Many wichuni, Techinkidapi, they cherish their water. Remember that. No dapple days. Not only Ikchewichashta, not only Indians, not only Dakota or Lakota or Nakota. Many people, Oyate Ota, Haitke Au, they're coming that way. If you remember that, there's over 5,000 people there. I know that area, just north of Cannonball. Oyankawa Cannonball up in North Dakota. I thought Tisted was it a Tisted, many Wakpa onke Decheta. Wakpak Decheta had. One time we went through there with me and my younger brother, Misu. We went through there. And I looked that way and I seen that area. I recognized that area. Where that big encampment. Encampment was the big no dapple protest. Oyate Toktoksha, different people, different races of people all over the world. Can you imagine? Makasi Domine, all over the world. Sintomine means all over the world. Anagupta, they're listening. Wayakapi, they're watching what was going on there. Because of this, Miniwichuni, they did not want the water to be contaminated by oil and gas, those kinds of things. And rightfully so, Hichitu. Hochidahan, Yichingana vehicle, unkachapapi we drive, Yechikana. Yechikana means a vehicle, whether it's, it's just a descriptive word for goes by itself. Yechikahiyaya. Yechinkahiyaya. Goes by itself. Yechinkana. I should write that down. Yechinkana. Yechinkana. Yechinkana is a vehicle. If I can spell, I think that's how you spell it, right, Takoja? Yep. Yechikana. That word, we first must have come up with that word, Yechikana. The Dakota must have seen this vehicle going by, all by itself. But there's a man there, Kachape. When they saw this vehicle going by, nothing pulling it, tako de yutita ayeshne. Nothing pushing it, tako de patita ayeshne. Yechikana hiyaye. Nothing pulling it, nothing pushing it. How is this thing moving? Toket ked. How? Toket kede. Hiyaye. How is it going? Maybe that's what they thought when the first Model A was going by here. So, because they don't understand how it works, they're talking. It's going by itself. How is that? So from there on, must have came the word Yechikana. Yechikana. By itself, by its own method. Yechikana. Well, some say Yechimani. Okay. Money is walking, right? Money is walking. Yechikana, I think, is that word. It could be wrong, but this is what I'm thinking. Yechikana is a Ihanktawa word. Ihanktawa, the dialect. That might be. I think that's what it is. For Dakota, with the D dialect, Dakota, maybe it could be wrong again, but these are two different ways of saying it and writing it, okay? Ye, chi, yechi, mani. Yechi, mani. Yechi is he wants or he is by himself. Ye ishnana, ye is him, her. Ye, you. Niye, you. Ye, him, her. Or that individual. Ye. Yechi, mani, walking. Because when they first, imagining again, when they first saw the vehicle go by itself, the Dakota were looking at, how is that thing moving? How is that thing moving? Yechi by itself, yechi mani. It's walking by itself, But it wasn't a human, it was, maza, it's iron. So, Iechimani, it goes by itself. We don't understand how it moves. But today, even though no dapple happened, people protesting water for the water, because oil and gas are going to go through there. But the big corporations, the men that run these big corporations like oil and gas and manufacturing cars, they need that gas and that oil. And I'm sorry to say, me too. If I'm going to go to town, I'll jump in my Yechimani and go faster, right? Half an hour, I'm in town. If I don't have a Yechimani, then it's going to take me 24 hours, a whole day to get over there, to Otuenta. So there's a need there. So even though there's a possibility of ruining the water, there is, if you want to call it good reason, I guess, I don't know, because we all drive vehicles, I'm not sure. But better management of the pipelines is certainly an issue, because already they had pipeline breaks already, I'm pretty sure, down that way. So it ruins the landscape, it ruins the water, but it's a needed resource, so there's always this argument. They discuss it, argue over it, the goods, the bads of it, pros and cons. So, Hina. Oh, hey, I remember something about that subject. Taku iwon hudakab de, that subject. Taku iwon hudakab. Taku is what? Iwon hudakab. What we talking about? Iwon hudakab. We talking about. Taku iwon hudakab. Before this Highway 21 that runs by here, goes to number 1 highway, and then you go all over provincial roads. The very first time Dakota's here, Dakota, Obadiah at the little prairies down there at the Obadiah. Dakota had Akape. Dakotas were living there. Some old guys, as they usually do, they're sitting outside in the shade. There was just a little trail, a dirt trail going that way. They seen this vehicle, probably a Model A of some sort, a long time ago, 1930s or 1920s, whenever Model A's were available. First time they seen this Model A's, they go by. The old guys, of course, they sit over there, Otanka. They sit there, they watch the car, Yechimani, Yechinkamani, going by, back and forth. They see that every day. So there's one time, my Tahashi, I have a Tahashi here, that was his grandpas in them that were talking. This is what Tahashi was telling me, my Tahashi, my relative was telling me that. These old guys were talking about that. They're looking at this Model A vehicle going by every day, whatever. They're talking about that. One of them were saying, oh, hey, that Yechimani, that thing that's moving by itself. Someday, Tohan, Tokatakya. Forward, moving forward. In the future, Tokatakya. Ampete waji, one day, Tokatakya, ampete waji. Takwa, this thing that's moving through here is going to affect Onia, the way we breathe the air. Onia. Tohanto tokata kya ye chema niwa hiya gde onia yoshichik. It's going to spoil the air that we breathe. Tokata kya. That's what these old guys were talking about when my Tahanshi, my cousin, was a small boy. They were talking like that. Was that a wild guess that these old guys back in the 20s or 30s, when they're talking about this vehicle that was going by, they're saying, someday, Tokatake, someday in the future, that thing is going to ruin the air that we breathe. Unia yushichiktiru. How did they know that? They weren't scientists. That's the first time they saw Model A going by chugging along, you know. How did they know that? I've often wondered that. How did these old guys back in the 1920s, or whenever it was, 1900s, how did they know that that vehicle is going to ruin the environment, the air that we breathe? But they certainly mentioned it back then. And now we hear everything about it now, today. No DAPL protest, yes. You hear about smog in New York City. In China, smog. Oh is a fog, smog. Ita hadachpa, ia hadachpa, you wear a mask, ia hadachpa ge umpidahan. Because of the smog. Onia yushiche, it's spoiling. Onia. Without that pure air, you can't breathe properly. It'll affect you. The old guys, they talked about those, I guess, back in the day, 2 or 3 generations ago, 4 generations, whenever it was, early 1900s. But we see that today. And I always wondered about that. They didn't really know. Iapi, huh? That yechika hiaya is going to ruin what we need to be alive, to live. Onia, the air. That's science, right? That's science. So, how, I always often wondered about that, about science, how the Indian understands, perceives, Wayaki Yukcha thinks about, he perceives about something that maybe they couldn't or shouldn't have been able to know back then. Because I don't think those old guys, the Wichachcha, Otankahina, I don't think they have knowledge, education to say that vehicle, Yechinkamani, is going to ruin Onia, the air, the environment. I wondered about that. And then also, while I'm on that, science of Indian, my grandma, she, when the thunderstorm comes, when the thunder is coming, she always goes to, she will run to the bush and she'll make a little teepee, inipi teepee kind of a thing, shelter. She raised me since I was 5, so she'll carry me or make me run beside her. We'll go to the bush and make a little igloo type building with little, twigs. She'll put a canvas or a blanket over it, and we'll sit in there while the thunder comes through. Sometimes we sit out there all night. Lots of mosquitoes, chapunka mosquitoes, but we sit there. She make a little smudge, pray, to the thunders, that they don't injure nobody. At those times, sometimes she'll talk about the spirit of the thunder. It's always in a battle with the little people, Cha'otida, the ones that live in the trees or in the trees, Cha'otida. They're always having a battle. When the lightning comes, when the thunder comes, there's lightning. She'll say they're shooting at the little people. You can hear the little people on those hills over there, she'll say. They live over there. Little people, Cha'otida, they live over there. You can hear them shooting back, shooting each other. The thunder rolls, wakingaku, just like it's rolling, thunder. You can hear them, she said, the little people, Cha'otida, shooting at them. The thunder shoot back, or they shoot and they shoot back. I heard lots of stories like that. And here's the scientific question. How my grandma knows that they're shooting at each other. So, when I was 7 years old, my first day in school, hardly a word of English. All I know is Dakota. So she takes me to school. Grade 1, there's no kindergarten or whatever that time, Grade 1, So I must have finished grade 1 or whatever. I can't remember if I finished it, but grade 4, then grade 5, I think it was, then we went to the next town, a little town, Kenton, Iapi. We went to school over there. Waiawa. Waiawa is to read something. Badawa. I'm reading this, an English Dakota dictionary. Badawa. Waiawa means is to go there to read or to write. Waiawa. Waiawa tipi. School. Waiawa tipi. Waiawa tipi. School. Kenton. That's where I went. And one of those grades, maybe grade 6 or 7 or whatever, we took a science class. And the teacher at that time was talking about lightning. She described in the science class how lightning works. And she was saying, lightning attracts each other. I think it's positive on the bottom, from the earth to a positive and a negative charge attract each other. I think that's how she explains science. People that know a little bit about science. It's a positive, negative interaction. And she said, if you can measure it, if you can see it, she said there'll be either a positive or negative that will go up a certain height, and from the clouds, the negative or the positive will come and meet. They'll meet that charge, negative charge. That creates lightning, and that creates thunder. That's how it was explained to me in science. A positive and a negative charge connection. It makes a boom. And when she was talking like that, this teacher in science, and I was wondering, is that what my grandma was talking about? The little Cha'otida, the little beings, the little people, shooting at the thunders when they're coming, and the thunders shooting back. I wondered about that. I think it was in grade 7. I was thinking about looking out the window, and at that time during that class, it was raining, and that's why she was talking about. The teacher was talking about that, how lightning works. That's science. Did my country, the old people, do they know science? But do they understand it in a different way? These little people were firing, and the thunders were firing back. Connection, boom, lightning. Are they talking about the same event, but understanding it different is what I thought about when that teacher was talking like that. I was wondering if this is what Kunshi is talking about. Does Kunshi know science, But today, for those of you that might be wondering, Google it. Google it how thunder and lightning happens. Google it and you will see. Because I did, I Googled it maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago, whenever it was that I remembered that, and I Googled it. How does lightning work? And that's what they said. I Googled it or YouTubed it or whatever. There's a charge, a negative, or either a negative or a positive charge that goes from the ground, and the clouds, from there, another charge, either negative or positive, another charge, they come and they meet. That's what my grandma was mentioning, just wondering. While I was on that subject of how did they know a long time ago that this vehicle that was going by itself, Ishna Hiyaye, Yechikana Hiyaye, Yechimani Hiyaye, the old guys that were sitting there, someday, Tokatake, someday, that thing is going to ruin the air that we breathe. How did they know that? My grandma says, they fight each other, the little people, the Wakia, the thunders, they fight each other, shoot each other. But that's how lightning works. Negative and positive charges, boom, kaboom, lightning. I was just wondering about that, so. And that's what I mean by takushnishne, whatever we'll talk about today. I want you to hear the spoken word. A different subject matter, whatever comes to mind. I just want you to hear the spoken word. So you're used to hearing the Dakota language, Dakota words. So it'll stay in here. For those of you, the seriousness of you hear, you register it, you can use it. So that's the reason why I said takushnishni. What comes to mind I will talk about. I just want to use the language. I just want to use the spoken word with a little bit of history involved, the mind of the Dakota back then to where it is today. So I'll go that far for now, and then we'll take a 15-minute break or so, and we'll come back and we'll finish it off. Hechi mitaku yepi mitako dapi, my relatives, my friends. Hechi tuktero. That's going to be. How hichitu akewana uhudio takapi. Again we come and sit together. Dokia nakapi, wherever you're sitting. Taku kindina, these things, taku is what? These things, iwowa hadake, I'm speaking on what I remember in the back days, about the vehicle, about the environment, about how science works, how Indians or Dakota viewed these events, these things that happen, that they witnessed, that they know, they try to understand. How these things work, and it kind of I don't know if amazement is the word for it. It sounds like science, Dakota science, how they understood these things way back when there was no education about it. They never went to school. I don't think my grandma went to school. I don't think those old guys, I don't think they went to school to speak in that fashion. Taku iwoha dakapi hina, those subject matters. Taku iwoha dakapi, the subject matter. How did they know? Amazed by it, We have a different understanding. Unkish unkokachni kapi tokcha. Togya unkokachni kapi. We understand it a little bit different, and yet it's the same thing. It's amazing, huh? Iyukchamke, huh? When you think about it, how the old people viewed these things in life back in the day, and we're seeing it today. TV akan oyakapi. TV, radio, we hear these things in the news about our environment, how critical it is that we look after our environment. And it's been said that the Indian people, not only Dakota Indian people, are stewards of the land, Makoche awanki hidakape. They're stewards of the land, of the air, of the environment. Stewards. Awahadakape, we care for it. We try to look after it the best way we can. So we still try to think in that way. Ichiesh, the reason why Ichiesh, Naka hepe, earlier I said that, Naka, earlier hepe, I said that we are all related. Takunk chiape, we're connected. Atewa kantanka, creator, created all things on earth. Tag oas nana, everything. Iekage, he made it, created. I've always had that question. What creator is? Wakantanka Iapi, the all-knowing, the all-sacred. What does he look like? Or is it even a male? Wicha, is it a male? Ishwiya, or is it a female entity? This thing that we understand called creator of all things. What is it? Is it a human being? Is creator human? Which ashtaka, Is it kind of like a human? Or is it something else? Taku tokcha. But it is certainly mysterious. It's hard to understand. Mysterious. It's a mystery. Wakan. It's sacred. That gave us life. A certain way of life. Certain things to do. Certain ways to communicate. To make life easier. It's easier, it's better when you have a certain way of life and you communicate about it. Iwaya hadake, iwo uhadaka pi, iwo wa hadake, iwoya hadake. This life that we live today, wichuni uhapke de, this life that we live today. Certainly many questions. Taku ota wo iyukcha questions, wo iyukcha thoughts, the thought process. Try to understand. Okini, maybe, okini, tohnina never. We will understand. Maybe we'll never understand what Creator is. I sat many times, many times, I sat with my grandpa, my unka, my lala, gaga, unkana. He talks about these things sometimes, not in minute detail, but in general he talks about these things. And one thing that he talked about one time too when we were sitting together, and he talked about the protocols of Dakota, what we understand Creator instructed us to do, how to live properly, to have a good life. He was saying, in the back days, generations ago, back days over there, we suffered. We didn't live a good life. And he talked about that. So the Creator giving us a life, a language, and a place to live, and a form of life. He noticed that we didn't. He must have noticed that we didn't live in a proper manner. So he selected the female entity, Wiyaka, to bring us a way of life with protocols, with laws to live by. And I don't know, they say 19, 20 generations ago, instructed us, and this woman, female entity, instructed us on how to live properly. So people call it the seven laws. that guide us, our lives, our daily lives, that we're able to manage our lives in a proper fashion, in a proper way. Wawohoda, respect. Wawokia, being helpful. Waoshida, being caring. And these kinds of good characteristics of a person that made life easier. Because we had structure. We had structure on how to live as an individual, as a community. Tioshpai, if you want to call it that. And a government, Back in the colonial days, we were viewed as a nation, a people without structure, without government. No, that's wrong. We had structure, we had government, we had territory, and these kinds of things. And my grandpa was talking about that. One time, a long time ago, we didn't have that, and we suffered. But we got the laws to live by, give us a better life. Tka means but. Tokatakia, in the future, we're not going to follow these structural ways, the protocols, the laws that we live by, given to us by Creator that gave us a good life. We're going to forget about those, he said. And we will become like old, we'll suffer by it, he said, because we don't follow structure again. He said, they'll be suffering because we don't follow we're not going to follow the ways that Creator gave us to live a better life, brought to us by the woman entity. Are we living in those times? Are we living like that again? Where are our laws? Where is wawohoda? Do I have wawohoda? Do I have respect in me? Do I have wawokia? Am I helpful? Do I have waoshida? Am I caring to my next door neighbor, whomever? Sometimes I question that. I question it. Oh, sorry about that. Amichik tejapo. Omas ape na khada. This is Omas Ape. Omas Ape is the phone. Nakhada, it's ringing. So he talked about that, my grandpa. It's going to get worse, he said. It's going to get worse. It's going to get bad until we won't be able to live properly again, he said. But because Creator is a loving Creator that gave us a life but that we fell away from, He's going to intervene again, he said. He's going to intervene. That day is coming, he said, in the future. So, listening to him talk like that, we had Iapi going, we had the fire going for Sweat Lodge, and he was talking like that. I was just sitting there listening. He said, Itokab, before this civilization that we know, before that, he said, it had already happened like that already, he said. And before that, he said, another time dispensation, another time before that, it happened like that, he said. And then another one like that, he said. Two time dispensations, the ones that we're living today, we had it good, it's getting bad, getting worse, until Creator is going to intervene, he said. His goodness, His love for us is going to intervene. Things are going to get worse. But it happened before, time dispensation before that. This happened before. And before that, another one happened back then, he said. So Creator intervened twice already, he said. Once as time dispensation, another one, and we're living in the third one, he said. Oh, I didn't question him too much. I just absorbed that what he was talking about. Mija ibidukcha. Tawacha ed iwacho, I absorbed it in my mind. But I did ask him a question or two. I asked him, okay, Grandpa, I said, what's the length, what's the duration, I said, okay. How long does it take when Creator intervenes, like you said twice already? How long does it take for when He intervenes, life begins to be good, and then it gets bad and it gets worse until He has to intervene again? How long is that process, I said. Without thinking about it too long, he said, he said, 2,000 years, he said. Hata uchashi cha achid. Wana uchashi cha shichaya kaha, wakanta ka ke, he comes, he intervenes. About every 2,000 years, he said. From good to bad to worse until He intervenes. When he talks about these things, I think about it and I wonder about it and I try to find out about it, right? What's he talking about? These time periods. And I do a little bit of research on it, and it seems to me to be what he's talking about. If you look at, or if you think about the zodiac. As Indian people, as Dakotas, Nakota, Lakota, we know there's 13 moons, full moons in 1 year. 13 of them. We live by it, by seasons. In the zodiac, there's 12 seasons or 12 months, the smaller zodiac. But the major zodiac also has 12, and with that entity in the middle. Each of these, like say I was born in December, so I'm born in the zodiac time period, if I understood that, of Sagittarius. The next one coming is Aquarius. The next time dispensation, Aquarius. So today, people, astrologists or people that follow that kind of a thing, they're saying that we lived in a time called Pisces. And Pisces is coming to an end now. Pisces started a little over 2,000 years ago. Is that what my grandpa was talking about? When life gets better, gets worse, unbearable, and the Creator comes again. Is that what he's talking about? Because in the bigger zodiac, each of these zodiac signs or times takes about 2,000 years to complete. So in the big zodiac, there's 12 of them. So it takes a little over 2,000 for each to finish, start to finish. And they say it takes 26,000 years to make a complete round. So it took Pisces, we're in Pisces now, and we're coming to the end of Pisces, 2,000 years. Aquarius starts 2,000 or so years. Like that until we finally come back to Sagittarius again, my birth month, birth time dispensation. Is that what my grandpa was talking about? I always wondered that. We can think about these things. Because whatever, as the Indian, the Dakota, Lakota, what they say, the Otanka, the spiritual people, those individuals in our societies, and they say what happens up there is the same down here. As above, so below. Something to think about, Taku hechi atoke to hechi isa de makake kan isa yechi to Iapi. What happens up there happens here too. Same. Is that what my grandpa talking about? When he talks about this time dispensation, when good life starts, gets bad, worse, until unbearable, and Creator comes again. So he said this is the third one, he said. And again, it's going to get worse, he said. And he will intervene, he'll come, as we know, Creator. Over there to the west, he said, the buffalo is standing, he said. Naji hanaji, the buffalo. Each time these dispensations happen, good, bad, he loses one leg. Good, bad, he loses another one. The third one, we're getting to the bad. When the Creator intervenes, his third leg will go. And after that, he makes it new again and will live again for another 2,000, 2,000 on his last leg. After that, when it gets bad, the next time when it gets bad and he has to intervene again, the buffalo will lie down. The fourth time. Okay, Creator will come when he lies down. Okay, he'll make it good again. 2,000. And it'll happen again, he said. On that time, the last time, he said, when he comes, Iapi, the people of the world, the people will see Creator at that time, he said. Right now we don't see him. We just have belief and faith in him. Belief and faith are two different things. At that time, he said, the very last time when he has to intervene, we're going to see Creator. We don't know who Creator or what he is, but he's from up there. People say, where's Creator? Oh, he's up there. Is he human? These are my questions. These are just personal questions of mine. Hetaku. What is that? Is he an alien? Because he's from up there. If you see something up there, that's an alien. I don't know. I'm just talking about little stuff like that. What comes to mind? The mind of the old people. I talked about the mind of the old people. Otanka. How do they know a little bit of science when they say that vehicle is going to affect the air that we breathe, and today it's happening. And my own grandma says how lightning works, how she understands it. The little people firing at the at the thunder, and they connect. They fight it. They shoot each other, and science says that's how it works. I don't know. These are just thoughts of my own today. I thought I'll speak on those things as we're going to finish off for this afternoon. Ake hachana, tomorrow, hachana ake. We'll come together again, wherever you are. Doki nakape tiata, anahopta nakape, wayag nakape. Nija Iapi, that you will speak the Dakota language. Because look at where we come from. Generations of Dakota Unkupi, Dehaya. We're becoming Dakota this way forward to today. Why should we lose it now? Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and other languages of Indian. You got to remember that in the back days, everybody was a tribal. In the back days, 5,000-6,000 years ago, everybody was tribal. But there's one tribe that was different. Only one was different. Henaku Oyakapi, they talk about that. So why should we lose our language today, When we're coming to the end of Otechika, it's hard, we're suffering. Why are we losing the language and the culture? What sustained us? Wichuni Unkupe gave us life. So I thought I'll mention those things today, here and there, about ancient times. A few generations ago, we choichare tonakchaket. Apetukinde today, apetukinde. Dokuyapta tokataki. Well, we're going to go forward. How are we going to go forward? Questions that I have, questions that everybody had in the back days. So. But I encourage you, I encourage you to think about that and hopefully think that and understand that language is important, given to us to use, to have a better life. So we'll think about that, and maybe tomorrow we'll talk about a little bit about that. Maybe, I don't know, but certainly tomorrow we'll come back again. That will be it. You listen, you see. I thank you for that.
Thank